Dr. Dinesh Dasa, the former chairperson of Gujarat Public Service Commission, Gandhinagar. He is also part of the All India Public Service Commission and the director of Gujarat Tourism, syndicate member of Veer Narmad, South Gujarat University, and he has completed his PhD in Sustainability Studies. So can I welcome here Dr. Dinesh Dasa, please?
Good afternoon to you all and namaskar. So I have been given topic spirituality in the education. I received a mail in the morning today and I was under the impression that as I headed the Gujarat Public Service Commission and I was in the process of recruiting civil servant. So when group is C20, the civil service organization, and it was with C20, I was under the impression that I will be given a topic or I am supposed to talk on a subject that how to make our civil service better or how through civil services we can cater or we can deliver the needs of the society or something like that. But I received mail today, I read the mail and in which I have been told that I have to talk about the spirituality in education. Fine, it's a very good topic. It's a much needed topic. The basic understanding about spirituality and education, the my says that we have to impart a kind of education which makes human free from all the dogmas. I read one statement which is very touchy to me, that freedom was the first 5 minutes when one is born crying naked, without name, without sin, without direction, without human malice. 5 minutes after the birth, the one will decide your name, your nationality, your religion, your sect, and one will spend your entire life fighting and stupidly defending things that you did not choose. So we hope that we impart a kind of education which make persons free from all this dogma. There should not be any identity. And J. Krishnamurti, he has taught us, or he has defined the violence, that if you want to understand violence, you have to understand simple thing. That when one start introducing himself as an Indian or European or American or Hindu or Muslim or Christian or anything else, he become violent. Why I say he become violent? Because one is separating himself or herself from the total of the mankind. And when one separate himself or herself from the total of the mankind, he become a violent. So the thing is that free man or free person is a one who is away from caste, creed, religion, place of birth, like that. So our aim is to create a global citizen. And when we talk about the global citizen, they are really Indian citizen, because Indian values are the global values. We talk about the hard power and soft power. It has been the human pursuit, or it has been our endeavor to have a domination on other society or other country. And it has been ingrained value in the human being to have a domination, to have a supremacy over the others. And the means which has been adopted in the course of the history, in past we had a military colonization. To have a domination or to have an influence on other, the imperial rulers used to rely on the military stand, military might, and we call it as a military colonization. As we shifted from agrarian society to industrial society and to knowledge-based society, the key component which enabled one to have a domination over others, they have been changing constantly. So earlier it was a military colonization through military might, through a hard power. One used to have a domination over other. Then it come a industrial revolution. In industrial revolution, the crude oil become the vital economic force. And it was reflected in thought that whosoever control oil or whosoever control the crude oil, they control everything. And for that, in the middle period, in between period, the pursuit of supremacy, the crude oil was the one of the important component to have a supremacy over other. No, let them do great. No, now say, no issue, madam. Please have a seat. And when Dr. Kiran Bidiji is here, madam, I would like to convey compliments to you from the Gujarat student. I headed Gujarat Public Service Commission for 6 years. And during my 6 year, we had an interview of somewhere around 42,000 candidates, out of which 20-25% I might have added. I was a board chairman at that time. And when I was interviewing a young girl, that who inspire you to take civil service examination? Let me be honest, madam, 80% girls were saying that Dr. Kiran Bedi is our idol. And those particularly who were preferring a police service. And in that case, so this is a sentiment I gathered for last 6 years in Gujarat while interviewing a Gujarat girl candidate. They all having a very high regards for you, and you were inspiration. You are an inspiration for the young girl to join a khaki service. So I was talking about that there should be spirituality component in our education, and as Krishnamurti has said, that if there is a spirituality, there will not be a violence. If there is a spirituality, then man will be free from all the dogmas. Free from the all dogma is the birth, caste, creed, religion, place of birth, and everything. And if it is so, then man will be free, and then he will be a part of mankind. He will not separate himself or herself from the mankind in the name of all this caste, creed, religion, like. And so it is our duty. It owes to education institute. It owes to teachers. It owes to university that we have to impart a kind of education which make human free. Instead of a regional citizen, instead of local citizen, we have to create a universal citizen. We have to create a global citizen. And as I said, that Indian values, Indian soft power, our culture, our art, our way of living, these are all things which will lead towards that. And for that, in case, as I was talking, that a few years in the beginning years were the military colonization, followed by the oil colonization, or we call it the energy colonization. And now we live in a 21st century where data is the new oil. So it is said that whosoever controls data controls everything. So next war, if we wish that there would not be any war, but in case it is a war, it will be to control a database. And to avoid that war, we have to impart spirituality in the individual. And in case the spirituality is there, then there will be a peace, there will be harmony, there will be coexistence, there will be wisdom, there will be all the positive virtues, there will be all the virtues which we call Indian virtues. So through our soft power, India, G20, we are heading a G20, G7 and G20. Throughout, matlab, we have been developing society since Vedic period. We were developing in AD1, our contribution to the world GDP was somewhere around 33%. And it remained 24% till the beginning of industrial revolution. Somewhere we missed. And today, our contribution to the world GDP is somewhere between 3 to 4%. Through our soft power, through engaging our demographic dividend for a positive and constructive use, we have to develop. There is nothing wrong in being developing, but the amount of time we take into that phase is it's a cause of worry. For example, Japan took somewhere around 30 years after Meiji Revolution in 1968 to transfer from developing to developed. Same way, the Germany took somewhere around 50 years in 1871 to attain that stage. The France took somewhere around 35 years to transfer from developing to developed state. Russia took only 25 years after that Bolshevik Revolution of 1970. China took somewhere around 40 years after that Mao Revolution in 1949. But as I told, that we have been developing society since ages. So this is a time where we have to commit, we have to determine, we have to engage our demographic dividend. Today, average Indian age is 28, China 37, United States 38, United Kingdom 40, European Union 46, Japan 49. All the developing economies are aging economies. They are aging society, while we have this demographic window. It was in Japan's life, which came in 1964 and stayed up to 2004. We all know that how Japan made wonder after that Hiroshima and Nagasaki incident. And Japan is world's third largest economy. It came in China's life in 1978. And today we all know that China is number one economy so far as PPP that thing is concerned. The demographic phase, the demographic window opened in Indian life in 2004, and it is going to stay up to 2055. So we have a 32 more year. This demographic window is there. So the big question is that can India harness this demographic window in next 2-3 decades and benefit from it? Yes, we can benefit it, provided that we train our young boys, we train our young mind in such a way, and in training them, our spiritual quotient should be of that level that the 21st century, we in slogan we say that 21st century belongs to India, but in real sense, in real spirit, it should belong to India. And for that, I think universities, teachers, academia, they have a big role to play. And I'm sure that when India is heading G20 this year, we will have a common and we have a consensus, we will have a resolution that yes, by the time we celebrate our 100th year of independence, when we have just entered into the Amrut Kal period, in next 20-25 years, we will be developed society, we will be a peace living society, we will be source of inspiration for the world, for all their struggle, conflict and clashes. And I think that time of India's on the modern political and economical landscape has arrived, and we all are lucky to witness this space. Thank you very much.
Many thanks to you, Dr. Dinesh Dasa, for sharing your thoughts on inclusion, spirituality, and training young minds. We are very restless to hear Dr. Kiran Bedi. So let me just, in a few minutes, encapsulate a couple of things about her life, then I will ask others to felicitate her. We are excited to have you with us, ma'am. Dr. Kiran Bedi, the Honorable former Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry. A warm and hearty welcome to you, ma'am. You're a multi-talented, dynamic woman, charismatic leader. You're nurtured by parents who instilled in you and your sisters the desire to excel. You're groomed at Sacred Heart Senior Secondary School, Amritsar. You shone in academics. You went on to graduate in law from Delhi University and onward to a doctorate from IIT Delhi. You taught political science in Khalsa College, Amritsar, and I think this struck a chord with me and with all the faculty members here that ma'am has been a faculty member. You are always a woman who preferred to swim against the stream. As a young IPS officer, there were several occasions where you stood high amongst your colleagues, awarded with the Police Medal for Gallantry, later on the Magsaysay Peace Award. You made a mark in every role you took up, whether it was Asia's Women Tennis Championship or India's highest ranking female police officer. Your high standards and your pure grit made you a role model for people like me, for young women and men all over India. As Delhi's Inspector General of Prisons, you made a deep impact in rehabilitation of prisoners and prison reform, and I'm sure there are many whose lives are irreversibly changed as a result of your policies and programs. More recently, through Indian Vision Foundation and Navjyoti India Foundation, as well as a dedicated YouTube channel on demonstrative learning, you continue to work and inspire youth, men and women, and vulnerable groups. You have authored 12 books, one of them, which is titled I Dare, one of my personal favorites, and one of your latest books on fearless governance. You were voted India's most trusted woman by Asian Age, one of the 10 most admired women in India. So we are so proud and to welcome you to Oro University. And I request you, ma'am, to please come on stage. Thank you. I request our Honorable Provost to please come and felicitate ma'am. Thank you.
सबसे पहले मैं जितना भी धन्यवाद करूं आपका उतना ही कम है। जब ये इनविटेशन आया, मेरे लिए एक फ्लाइट ढूंढनी थी, सिर्फ 6 बजे की फ्लाइट तो सूट नहीं कर रही थी, सुबह 6 बजे की, जो किरण सिंह जी ने बोला। मैंने कहा 6 बजे मत बुलाओ, इसका मतलब मैं 3 बजे रात को सारी रात जागूंगी, तब मैं पहुंचूंगी। We found a flight and it was reasonable timed. Very grateful. So invitation was very, very spiritual for me. It was also recommended by Bhavna, who my friend I met in Rajkot. और आपका नाम ही इतना बढ़िया था कि इसको ना कौन कर सकता है। It's such a powerfully spiritual name, and I'm so happy that you got this name and they allowed you to have it, because I'm a Pondicherrian by heart now. I spent dedicated 5 years of my last 5 years of my life serving Puducherry. But it began with the ashram. It began with Sri Aurobindo Ashram, and it says this in the first chapter of my book, latest book, which I've written on 5 years of my work, Fearless Governance. और वो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट थी किरण को कि आप गुजराती में ट्रांसलेट कर दो। किरण कहाँ हैं आप? मैंने इनको रिक्वेस्ट की कि आप ट्रांसलेट कर दीजिए और मैं वापस आपके पास आऊँगी गुजराती एडिशन को रिलीज़ करने, जब किरण बना लेगी। एंड माई पब्लिशर वॉज वेरी वेलकम दैट ही वॉज वेरी हैप्पी कि मेरी गुजराती एडिशन भी हो जाएगी, क्योंकि मैनी अदर बुक्स आर ऑलरेडी इन गुजराती. So I was wondering, why should we not have fearless governance as well? So आप जितनी जल्दी ख़त्म करेंगे उतनी जल्दी मुझे मौका मिलेगा आपके पास वापस आने का. हाँ जी, अच्छा ज़रूर. And what an impressive building you have. What a wonderful environment around it. What a wonderful concept of the university with hospitality training. ये जो आपका कॉन्सेप्ट है यही तो चाहिए. अगर G20 कोई रिकमेंडेशंस मांग रहे हैं तो मेरी एक रिकमेंडेशन वो है जो हमने गाड़ी में से बात की थी कि जब मैं भी पौंडीचेरी में थी तो मैं कहती थी कि एक तरफ आपके पास पौंडीचेरी में 7 से भी ज़्यादा मेडिकल कॉलेजेस हैं, 14 लाख की पॉपुलेशन और 7 मेडिकल कॉलेजेस, क्योंकि हर पॉलिटिशियन ने अपना ट्रस्ट बनाया और अपनी आमदन बना ली और एक एक बच्चे से 50-50 लाख रुपया सीट की फीस लेते थे, अब नहीं। तो ये हाल था। और जब कोविड आया तो ये डट के मैटर एक्सपोज हो गया। लेकिन मेरे सेवा के दौरान लोग, स्टूडेंट्स रोते हुए आते थे मेरे पास, गरीब स्टूडेंट के हमारा मेरिट है लेकिन हम 50 लाख रुपया कहाँ से लाएं, और रसीद भी नहीं दे रहे। सो उतना काला धन फैल रहा था पौंडीचेरी से, क्योंकि रिसीट नहीं दे रहे और मांगते ही जाते हैं, हॉस्टल के लिए भी, ट्रांसपोर्ट के लिए भी, ये भी ऊपर से एक बार एडमिट हो गए और फिर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी साइन करा रहे हैं, बड़ी चीज़ें। सो ये सारी चीज़ें मेरे नोटिस में जब एज लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर आई तो मैंने उसको टेकअप कर लिया और मैंने कहा ये माफिया नहीं चलेगा। और एक तरफ माफिया जिसके पास मनी पावर थी, पॉलिटिकल पावर भी थी, पॉलिटिकल पावर तो थी, बिना पॉलिटिकल पावर के हो ही नहीं सकता। सो पॉलिटिकल पावर भी थी, मनी पावर भी था, लेकिन मेरे पास ओहदा था, मेरे पास एक पोजीशन थी और मेरे पास गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की बैकिंग थी और मेरे पास कचहरी थी, कोर्ट्स थे, तो रूल्स थे। तो उसके बाद हमने जब ये चीज़ों को चैलेंज किया तो लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर होते हुए मैंने एक एफिडेविट फाइल किया मद्रास हाई कोर्ट में उनके लिए, स्टूडेंट्स के लिए लड़ने के लिए, और उनको एक ग्राटिस के लिए लॉयर VBR मेनन चेन्नई ने को रिक्वेस्ट की कि इनका केस टेकअप करो, ये तो लूट है, ये तो एक्सटॉर्शन है। और तब तक नीट एग्जाम भी आने लग गए, लेकिन अभी नीट का वो फाइनलाइज नहीं हुआ था, वो एम्ब्रियोनिक स्टेज पे थी। और लेकिन गवर्नमेंट ने कहना शुरू कर दिया था कि प्राइवेट मेडिकल कॉलेजेस में इतनी सीटें गवर्नमेंट की, मतलब गवर्नमेंट के स्टूडेंट्स मेरिट से, लेकिन वो मान नहीं रहे थे, वो सिर्फ इंस्ट्रक्शंस थी, कानून नहीं थे, रूल्स भी नहीं थे, रूल्स को वायलेट कर रहे थे। तो जब मैंने ये टेकअप किया उस वक्त लड़ाई, इस जंग को, तो मैंने ये देखा कि एक तरफ ये साइलोज जैसे काम कर रहे हैं, कोविड आ गया लेकिन हर मेडिकल कॉलेज अपना संभाल के बैठा हुआ है, हम क्यों देंगे किसी को हेल्प। मैंने कहा कोविड में लोग मर रहे हैं, तुम्हारे पास स्टूडेंट्स हैं, तुम क्यों नहीं जगह जगह डिस्पेंसरियों में इंटर्नशिप करते, वॉलंटियर करते, काम करते। लेकिन वो इनको फील्ड्स बनी हुई थी। उधर नर्सिंग स्कूल भी है, नर्सिंग है, आपके पास रेडियोलॉजी लैब्स भी है, सब जने अपनी 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 टेरिटरी को संभाल के बैठे हो। उस वक्त मैंने रियलाइज किया कितनी ज़बरदस्त एक डेफिशिएंसी है इस कंट्री में। एक तरफ मेडिकल कॉलेज, एक तरफ नर्सिंग होम, एक तरफ हॉस्पिटल मांग रहा है कि मुझे इंटर्न चाहिए। ये इंटर्न क्यों नहीं करते, ये क्यों नहीं जैसे एंटर करते, दे बिकम अप्रेंटिसेस एंड इंटर्न्स और प्रैक्टिकल लर्न करें, क्यों नहीं हम लिंकेजेस करते हर हॉस्पिटल। सो दिस इज माय सजेशन, जैसे आपका और हॉस्पिटैलिटी का है, ये सजेशन जी को अपनी कंट्री को दीजिए कि जहां जहां मेडिकल कॉलेज है और मेडिकल और हॉस्पिटल है उनको लिंक करो, और जहां जहां जो भी नर्सिंग स्कूल है उसको लिंक करो। नर्सेस को भी प्रैक्टिकल वर्क, स्टूडेंट्स को भी प्रैक्टिकल वर्क, डॉक्टर्स को असिस्टेंट मिले, और वो ट्रेनिंग बाय डूइंग, ट्रेनिंग बाय सीइंग। एक तरफ यू आर लर्निंग, एक तरफ यू आर डूइंग, एक तरफ यू आर सीइंग। और साथ में लेबोरेटरी एक्सपर्ट्स के जो लेबोरेटरी असिस्टेंट्स हैं उनको भी लिंक करो। व्हाई कांट वी लिंक, वील सेव लॉट ऑफ मनी ऑल्सो, बट वील गेट लॉट ऑफ ट्रेनिंग बाय प्रैक्टिकल ट्रेनिंग। आज नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी इज टॉकिंग अबाउट प्रैक्टिकल ट्रेनिंग, हैंड्स ऑन ट्रेनिंग। तो ये व्हाई डोंट वी एस्टैब्लिश लिंकेजेस, लिंक hospital with college and nursing home, saying you're linked. Now you work together. You are a coordinating forum where you will pool together and train together and intern together and apprentice together. Why should you work in isolation? So आपका ये जो हॉस्पिटैलिटी और कॉलेज यूनिवर्सिटी का है कितना बढ़िया है, क्योंकि एक तरफ आपके पास होटल, एक तरफ आपका हॉस्पिटैलिटी, एक तरफ आपका यूनिवर्सिटी। तो जिसने हॉस्पिटैलिटी डिग्री लेनी है वो तो प्रैक्टिकल लेके वो बेटर करेगा दुनिया में भी। This is the right example. So if such examples exist elsewhere, very good. But if this doesn't exist elsewhere, so should this happen. Even hotels should be linked with these kind of hospitality institutions, so that वो favor नहीं कर रहे कि किसी को लेने के लिए. They are doing this as a part of policy decisions. So this could be one of the good suggestions. Your practical suggestion, what can be done in hospitality can be done there in medical field, and so could be in the other. I'll tell you what we did in internships. That was the first time it happened. I have a presentation I'll give you, but it set me thinking. जो आप कर रहे हो, और अगर आप आइडियाज ढूंढ रहे हो तो ये है आइडियाज. जैसे कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप ये जब इलेक्शंस होती हैं तो इलेक्शन मॉडल कोड ऑफ कॉन्डक्ट आ जाता है. And officers, persons like me or a minister, they are supposed to be not be seen in public so that they are not seen influencing anybody. I, as the governor, also was expected not to move out, not to meet people, and not to make any speeches or statements. So it was like being locked up in the Raj Nivas. What do I do locked up in Raj Nivas? I'm not moving out and making anything. मैं मुफ्त में क्यों आऊँ, मैं क्या घर चली जाऊँ? तो what I did was, LG's office put it on the internet saying Raj Nivas is open for internships in public administration. And you won't believe it, we got many internship requests. And we selected 30 interns, graduates, coming from different parts of India. And what did we do? We told them, you have to make your own PG arrangements. They made nearby PG arrangements. And what did Raj Nivas do? I said, you come with your breakfast, having taken, come for the day work here. Lunch we will give you, Raj Nivas will give you. A cup of tea, evening tea we'll give you. You go home for dinner. And that's how we balanced it out. This is the first time a public administration and government office is thrown open to internships. And they stayed with us for 1 month. And all these students who were coming from different parts of India were associated with different departments of the government. So they were giving you go to PWD, you go to Department of Education, you go to Police Department, you go to Health, you go to Technology, see and observe. So and then someday go volunteerism. तो कई जगह में. तो इससे I have a chapter in this book, Fearless Governance में. So if you could find the time, I have left my book back in the room, but that book has a chapter on interns. What happened with the interns? And these interns, they are still a part of my family. And they were working closely with me. And they were having courses, workshops, projects. Whatever they saw, they would come and present and some made films, some made applications, some made a lot of things they did on the social media. So they were sending messages to the rest of the world on what they were learning at Raj Nivas. So they saw closely the functioning of Raj Nivas. What's the matter with this habit? Nothing. The required criterion of such good practices is, since I'm going to be talking about good practices, is that it's transparent. Raj Nivas was accountable, transparent functioning. So you have to be transparent to allow people to come and see you and watch you. So this is how can be done. So these are some suggestions which can be made if they're looking for this. I believe Amrita Vishwani, the Pete, is looking. Who's that? Here you are. These are suggestions. What is India lacking is linkages. India is lacking coordination, collaboration. India is only lacking linkages. आज हर चीज हर जगह है, वो linked नहीं है एक दूसरे के साथ. हम कार्य पर और cooperation नहीं है और coordination नहीं है. We need to have policies of cooperation, coordination, and start rewarding for those institutions which are collaborating the best. Because this is what will bring down egos and bring in team spirit. Why? We are teaching our students competition, not collaboration. First कौन आया? किसी को भी चीट करके वही जीत के भी मैं फर्स्ट आई. नहीं, टीम वर्क को फर्स्ट को दो. First team. So let's start saying this is the first team which gets all A grade. So if we start recognizing teamwork, collaboration, cooperation, coordination, you will see the change. Because at the moment, everybody's competing with the other to bring the other person down. And I come up with somehow the other. Rather than say, let's have a team approach. Let's have teamwork coming. And not again regional. Team can be heterogeneous. Teamwork need not be the same language. So I think we need to how do we bring more cooperation, collaboration and cooperation? That is, I think, if we can do that and reduce the spirit, race mein first, second, third is fine. But when it comes to project writing, education, bring it to teamwork. And I do not know whether national education policy is focusing on how do we promote teamwork. I do not know. I've not looked at it from that point of view. I've certainly looked at it from other point of view. But this is, मेरे thinking में तो अभी आया है. इसलिए मैं सोच रही हूँ कि if you are open to suggestions, this is my second suggestion. One is linkages. The second is teamwork within colleges. And that is where it's like playing team sport. Team sport builds networks and friendships and brotherhood and sisterhood. Similarly, will be teamwork at work, not just in play, but at work. So, आपने मुझे जब चॉइस दी सब्जेक्ट्स की, मैंने ये सब्जेक्ट को चूज़ किया और मैंने आपके लिए एक प्रेजेंटेशन बनाई है. स्टूडेंट्स कम हैं, ये स्टूडेंट ओरिएंटेड भी है, बट दिस इज टीचर ओरिएंटेड प्रेजेंटेशन ऑल्सो. बट लेट मी गो थ्रू इट. But I have in mind the students to begin with. But however, you have teaching faculty and your parents, so it covers a cross section of society. Let's go ahead and look at this first. Now, this presentation, when I received the invitation, I started to look at the good practices, the good requirements to make a good life. How can we have a good world with bad people? How can you have a village of criminals? How can you have village with cheats? How can you have village of all people deprived, dishonest? Or you can have a village of honest people, serving people, helping each other, supporting each other, collaborating with each other, living in harmony. That would be a better world. So, but where does it begin from? That's where I want to come back to. That if the moment you start looking at the world, remember the world is full of countries. And countries is full of states. States is full of districts. Districts is full of villages. And villages is full of homes. Homes. And in that home, it's a very beautiful cell. And that cell is the mother and the father. And then that cell moves to the teacher. So it's the mother and father and the teacher finally make up to villages, to districts, to states, to countries, to the world, and to the continents. So if we don't address the nucleus, which is the home, and in the home, it's the mother and the father. And with the mother and father are the grandparents. If they are stayed, they're very fortunate if they're there. And through that is linked with the teacher. But school comes first. Then comes the skill upgrading and the skill coming through colleges and universities. I think this is how I look at it. And it's from this background I've made this presentation. And this presentation is a part of my own library, which I maintain because I'm I love for education, it at heart. As I was introduced, I was a lecturer. I started my career as a lecturer, also became a special commissioner training in Delhi Police. So I've been a trainer also while in service. And that is and then of course being a student, continuing to learn more and more and doing more degrees, whether it was a law degree or an IIT or a Nehru scholarship, and then got into writing books. So it's been a habit of learning constantly and being a student all my life. I have a personal story to tell you. I was in 9th standard in my school. And I was a very outdoor girl playing competitive tennis already, playing a lot of tennis. Sports was my family. And on the 9th standard, I was denied by my nun, Catholic nun. She says, Kiran, you cannot get mathematics with science because you're poor in mathematics. I was poor in mathematics. But I wanted science. And I said, then what will I do? They said, no, we'll only give you household. I said, but I don't want household. I'm not good at household. I want to do science. But if you can't give me mathematics, give me something else, but not household. Because I'm not growing up to make budgets of the house. I'm growing up to make the budget of my country. I'm growing up to be a part. I had already a vision that I'll enter the public services. I will work in service. So I said, no. She says, but I can't give you. There was no choice. So what did I do? I left the school as a 13-year-old girl. I was probably 12 and a half to 13 only. Because by 14 years, I had joined the 11th standard. That was 10 plus 4. It was not 10 plus 3 and 2 like that. I was 13 years old. And I didn't tell my mother that I've left my school where my younger sister was also studying. My older sister had also studied. It was a school of the whole family. And I said, no, I will not stay here. Because I'm not for household. As a 13-year-old, I knew what I wasn't right. Wasn't right for me. Household is very good, but it wasn't right for me. I was like a fish who wanted to go only into the water, not to climb the tree. So I looked for a school in the city of Amritsar who would give me science, but something else. But science I wanted. So I tried, I got a private school and they offered me science with Hindi. I joined and they said, can you take an entrance? I did an entrance. When I did an entrance, they said, it was October, in the middle of the session almost, nearing as it was moving on. She says, the principal said, you're good for the 10th standard. Kiran, should we take you for the 10th standard? I went to join 9th standard. And the principal said, you're good for 10th. You want to take the 10th? I said, if you prepare me and help me, I will. So I got science with mathematics. I studied hard. My teacher worked with me. I did science in laboratories, continued to play tennis, tried to learn a lot of Hindi because Hindi is very poor in Christian colleges. Sometimes Hindi is also poor, but Hindi is Hindi. I knew Hindi, so I did Hindi. And there you are. After that, I entered the 11th standard. My school was still stuck. My friends were stuck in the 10th standard. I joined college in the 11th standard, means college in the university, with science and math and science and Hindi. I took a decision. Why don't they, that time they did not have this combination. That is why it's taken the government of India or my country 75 years to give this flexibility. So, but before you give the flexibility, my next suggestion is that from 7th standard onwards, child should be looked at what is the talent child is born with. 7th standard, 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard. Give the child the flexibility to change. And it's not doctor banega, engineer banega, IAS banega, IPS ही बनेगा, नहीं तो मैं मर जाऊंगा. Parents कह रहे हैं मरा हुआ देखोगे अगर तुम IAS नहीं बनोगे, मरा हुआ देखोगे डॉक्टर नहीं बनोगे. They are pressurizing. And many boys and girls have joined the profession very sadly, and then they finally, the parents have become higher in age, they change their profession. They leave and start doing totally something else. So my friends, another way is allow the child to change the subject at any stage, but groom the child. Help the child in that subject which the child is choosing. That's the need. That means flexibility is now come in NEP, but teachers have to be trained now. Teachers have to be oriented. So this is that where you are not forcing a child, and then exams is now board exam was big threat. Now the university examinations come, so the board pressure has come down. Earlier the board was everything. It was do or die. What subject? What God knows what. Pata nahi kya karenge. So this is another. You have to prepare a life to make a living. Not only prepare for making a living. What about the life? And if living is going to be messed up, then where's the life? Nothing. So I was thinking this is another area. Another area is there are two gifts we should give to our children. One is roots, the other is wings. We have not given our children our roots. उनको हिस्ट्री मालूम ही नहीं है. अब मैं पौंडीचेरी की बात ही बताती हूँ. I used to visit schools in Pondicherry, and when I used to ask the children, tell me, Pondicherry की history क्या है? Where did Pondicherry come from? When did Aurobindo come? Or when did the French? क्या है? None of them knew. And even today, go test. They'll fail in Pondicherry history. Why? Because Pondicherry history की book अभी तक लिखी भी नहीं गई वहाँ. वो तमिलनाडु की बोर्ड का एग्जाम है. Pondicherry is still linked with Tamil Nadu board, and only Tamil Nadu board does not have Pondicherry history. So the Puducherrians do not know their own history. Forget about Indian history. They don't know their own history. So those are the roots. And our roots are so deep, goes thousands of years of civilization. Who said India was a developing country? We were the developed country of the world. And we were left poor. For whatever reasons history is given, we were made poor. We were exploited completely, and we also fought with each other. And we hurt each other, and we let others use us, and they left us poor. And it has taken us so long to now show a face. I was in the United Nations New York in 2003, 2004, And now when I go overseas and you go overseas, see the face of foreigners? What was it earlier and what is it now? Now they recognize the Indian. Earlier they did not. Earlier they did not. Now they do. Now they do. Oh, India? Oh, India yoga. India history. India Vedas. India's Modi. So many things happen. India's technology. India's vaccination. Pharmaceutical country of the world. Youngest country of the world. Now India is different. Why wasn't? Because we never knew our roots. Even if we were not rich, we did not know our roots. Who brought yoga to the world? One person who made the difference. He brought yoga to the world and stood at the United Nations saying, yoga is for the world. It needed yoga has been happening for the last thousands of years. From the time of Patanjali, goes back to so long a history. So, we never gave our children our roots. उनका कसूर नहीं है. हमने दिया नहीं उनको. लेकिन मान लीजिए स्कूल ने नहीं दिया, कॉलेज ने नहीं दिया, यूनिवर्सिटी ने नहीं दिया, तो घर ने क्यों नहीं दिया? माँ बाप ने क्यों नहीं दिया? दादी दादा ने, नानी नानी ने क्यों नहीं दिया? So, आई बात सबकी. So, roots. What is a course on roots? Let's know our roots. Don't call it history. Call us our roots. Can you deny me my roots? Roots is roots. So where is my roots? So whatever is wherever it's going down, I want to know my Upanishads. I want to know my Vedas. I want to know my epics. I want to know my roots. Where are my ceremonies and rituals coming from? All these mantras, where they're coming from? All these Sanskrit mantras, where they're coming from? They're going back to the roots. So I need to know my roots. I may not respect my roots, but I must know my roots. I must know my history. So friends, but give them the wings. So give them the roots and then fly, as it is said, find out what their talent is before. Let's look at the other. How do we teach time management? Do our boys and girls know time management? Or do they get to know only when it's old? When the children come to school, who's talking time management? What kind of assembly sessions are they getting? What kind of role models are they getting on time management? Do they understand that time is flying? Do they understand by comparison that time is not going to stay? From primary to secondary, you'll jump quickly to university, pata bhi nahi chalega. Who's orienting them? If we orient them later, why? Because if they value time, they will try and be learners. They will try and acquire as much as possible. So who's going to teach time management? These are skills for life, which will make a living. So I'm looking for these good practices, which schools must have to begin with. That means the school assembly and the home is very vital. What does the assembly do? The other day, somebody was mentioning, I do demonstrative learning channel. And I asked some children, are you aware of the latest national education policy? I said, what's happening these days? I asked the girls, children, what is happening these days on your books? Or what's happening? Oh, ma'am, some chapters are being changed. Some chapter. That chapter got changed. And now we do not know what to do. Because this wasn't in the 9th, now it's in the 10th. So we do not know. I said, but did not your teachers tell you in the assembly that there are changes in the national education policy and there are amendments coming? No. Nobody's talking to them. Nobody's communicating to them. I'm not saying nobody. Means they are not being spoken. They're not being taken into confidence. What is India going through? What is India changing for? Why is the need for India, as according to policy, changes happening? So time management will tell them. These are things taught in the school assemblies. Or time management. I'm a product of time management. If you ask me in my life, all these years, Kiran, have you wasted a day? I said, no, I don't think so. I've not wasted a day. I live my day. I spend my hour, but I spend it my way. I spend the way I want. But I don't waste. Why should I waste? Why? Because time is priceless. Time cannot be bought from the market. It's one thing which you cannot buy is time. So we need to send these value systems and what are precious things. So time management is one. Focus is another, where they're losing concentration. And you see this? People spend 47 seconds at a time on any task now on average, down from 150 seconds in 2004. And then it goes on to the same pace. Where are we teaching focus? Focus, focus, focus. But it's all hocus, hocus, hocus. It's not focus. It's hocus, pocus. And where will you learn focus? By reading a book? Will we read a book? Or should we practice it? So why can't the assembly begin with 10 minutes of meditation? Why can't 10 minutes begin with silence? Why can't 10 minutes begin with ethical therapy? Quietude. So assembly, morning assembly. Why can't the home? Why can't a home begin with silence? Why not? Parents get up to say, चलो 10 मिनट चुप करके बैठो और सोचो अपने बारे में, कल क्या किया और आज क्या करना है, चुप करके. या कोई मंत्र जाप करो, कोई जो भी दिल करता है करो, जो भी नाम जपना जपो, तुम्हारी मर्जी, लेकिन 10 मिनट चुप, फोकस करो. कंसंट्रेशन और कोई तरीका नहीं है. इट कैन नॉट बी, इट हैज टू बी प्रैक्टिस्ड. Focus. So how do you practice? These are the things which I thought very, very vital to bring in to homes and assemblies and community gatherings so that we can start grooming our people. So we are what we think. We need to make them see. आज क्या सोच रहे हो? अच्छा क्या सोच रहे हो? मैं सोच रहा हूँ पता है मैं फेल ना हो जाऊं. मैं सोच रहा हूँ इतनी साल है मैं इतना कमाऊंगा कैसे? कमाऊंगा कैसे? अरे ये इतनी दूर के पहले आज की बात तो करना. Because time is past, time is future, but time is present also. They have to be trained. Past is past. You can only learn from the experience. Future is yet to come. You have to prepare for it. But why are you losing your present? How will we train these children? Only book reading will not do. So we are what we think, as Buddha said. 3 things we need to reach out to our children. Sachai, Safai and Sadgi. Sachai, Safai we've been taught a lot. And see, we hammered a lot. If we did not have Safai, we would have died many more times in COVID. If we hadn't had those toilets with us, we would have died. Because it was spread more and more virus around. Safai we did, but we got a long, long way to go. So, who teaches Safai? I'll tell you a small thing. Do we have time? Or can we stop? Tell me when I stop. Sorry? We have time? It's 5:45 now. When do you want me to finish? No, I just have I'm explaining it. I can run through this presentation. I can explain the presentation. What would you want me to do? Could I explain? It's not that I want to talk or I want you to listen. I've come all the distance to give you something I believe, I think I know. Okay. But if any one of you is bored, please feel free to go. So, Safai. I'll tell you about a little instance in my life. As Special Commissioner Police Training, I had about thousands of police cadets every day. They safaied the police training college before they left for work, home. They did Shramdan. Why can't colleges and schools do Shramdan? Shramdan is another way, and it's a Gandhian concept. One day Shramdan will also come all over the world like yoga did. You'll see. If somebody speaks about Shramdan on yoga, which means, that means, see, but the Shramdan, so many things are being learned. It's a sense of belonging. This is my institution. And I give to serve. And I come down humbly to clean. And I'm doing it for others. Others are doing it for me. It's a give and take. So many things are being learned through Shramdan. You learn humility. You learn community service. You learn value for hygiene. You also learn to live in order. And you also want to do for each other. I'm doing for you, cleaning, you doing for me. And everybody has turns. And in this, teachers are also part of it. Shramdan means everybody. And in my police training college, they all had portions of lands where somebody had a garden, somebody had the kitchen, somebody had this. They all did it turn by turn. And they used to leave the premises spick and span. And when they would return Sunday evening for Monday morning parade, they came to a new building. Every time it was a new building. So Shramdan is another Safai, Sachai, Safai, and Sadgi. Sadgi means uniform. So that's why schools are Sadgi, because you wear no frills and frocks. You wear one uniform, and that's what Sadgi brings you. And you learn when you work in uniform, you'd wear an NCC uniform or you wear a sports. It's Sadgi. So if you learn Sadgi, that's what school teaches you. Later on, Sadgi also comes by how parents groom you. How parents train you to live within your means. And the Sachai. This is the most challenging. क्योंकि outside is all falsehood. बाहर सिर्फ झूठ दिखता है आजकल. लेकिन घर में अगर सच्चाई की वैल्यू सिखाई जाएगी और स्कूल में, तो फिर उसको कन्फ्रंट करेगा वो, नहीं तो उसको बाहर एक्सेप्ट कर लेगा. ये तो घर और स्कूल ही कहेगा सच्चाई में शांति है, सच्चाई में ईश्वर है, सच्चाई में तरक्की है, तंदुरुस्ती है, मानसिकता अच्छी है. भगवान में विश्वास करो ना करो, उसमें लॉ ऑफ नेचर है जो तुम्हें कर्तव्य देगा, कर्तव्य का फल देता है. मगर फल जरूरी नहीं दिखे, पता नहीं कैसे, कर्मों का फल. सो डिपेंड्स व्हाटएवर टीचेस, व्हाटएवर यू कैन टीच. So this is back to school. So Sachai will not come by role models outside. Sachai will come by teaching in the school and homes. There is no other option, because all the external environment today is outside falsehood, lot of falsehood. और लड़ाई और कॉन्फ्लिक्ट और falsehood है बाहर. अगर अपने बच्चे को आज बचाना है तो स्कूल और माँ बाप ही बचा सकते हैं उसको, और कोई नहीं बचा सकता. ये देखिए. और तो उसके बाद हाउ डू वी टीच देम वैल्यू फॉर हेल्थ. कोविड ने बता नहीं दिया, कितना पैसा भी हो गए, चले गए, क्योंकि पैसा नहीं बचा सका. हेल्थ नहीं है तो वेल्थ का जीरो है. अगर वेल्थ है तो हेल्थ भी आ जाएगी, लेकिन अगर हेल्थ नहीं है तो वेल्थ का कोई कागज है, वो कोई वैल्यू नहीं करता. सो हाउ डू वी टीच देम द वैल्यू फॉर हेल्थ? हु विल टीच देम? बैक टू न्यूट्रिशन. दैट मीन्स बैक टू स्कूल. These are the kind of messages by illustration, by innovative methods they have to be taught. See how it says, life's biggest investment is not in property or shares, it's you. So if teachers can play these kinds of roles, it will make a lot of difference. So as Swamiji said, a man is not poor without a rupee, but a man is really poor without a dream and ambition. ये आपको ड्रीम देनी पड़ेगी उसको छोटी उम्र में, या शेयर करनी पड़ेगी, या उसको बोलना चाहिए तेरी ड्रीम क्या है. या वो कहेगा मुझे मालूम नहीं है. अच्छा, ये ड्रीम हो सकती है तुम्हारी? हाँ. पापा जैसे बनना चाहते हो? हाँ, तो करो. तो फिर पापा जैसे बनो. जाओ पापा के साथ काम पे जाओ, जाओ पापा के काम को देखो. मम्मी के फैक्ट्री में जाओ, मम्मी की फैक्ट्री देखो. हाँ, मुझे मम्मी का फैक्ट्री बहुत अच्छी लगती, मैं भी ऐसे करूंगा. यू गिवन हिम अ ड्रीम. सो आस्क हिम, and then if he says no, then you share it with him. If he says yes, then involve him. That's education. This is about spiritual energy, which Oro talks about. And that's what integral yoga is all about. How do you generate spiritual energy to give? And I am a strong believer. जिसके अंदर spiritual energy, उसी में रोब है. जिसके अंदर spiritual energy नहीं है, वो तो dark है, बिल्कुल छिपा, उसके ऊपर ग्रहण लगा हुआ. ग्रहण वाला आपको रोशनी क्या देगा? रोशनी तो वही देगा जिसके अंदर आत्मिक शक्ति है. स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी इज ऑल अबाउट अवेकनिंग द सोल, द माइंड बॉडी स्पिरिट कमिंग टुगेदर एंड अवेकनिंग योर नाइन्थ आई, विच इज कॉल्ड द सोल. सो हाउ डू वी डू दिस? स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी विल कम ओनली बाय प्रैक्टिसिंग messages, kind of spiritual teaching which is ethical therapy. मैं अपने जेल में जब IG जेल थी तो मैं स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी कैसे वाइब्रेट करती. एक तो मैंने विपश्यना मेडिटेशन 10,000 प्रिजनर्स को करवाया था. 10,000 प्रिजनर्स को एट अ वन, 10,000 नहीं, 1,000 का एक कैंप लगा था. उसके बाद वो करते गए. तो स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी बढ़ाने के लिए, ताकि अपने माइंड को वॉच करें कि मेरे माइंड में क्या क्या कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स आ रहा है, मैं अपने आप की अंदर की शुद्धि करूं. सो अंदर की शुद्धि विल जनरेट स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी, एंड दैट्स व्हाट योर यूनिवर्सिटी स्टैंड्स फॉर. Then comes a conscience alarm. बच्चों को बोलो क्वाइटली बैठ के जरा सुने अंदर की आत्मा, उनको बताओ आत्मा होती है, देयर इज अ कॉन्शियंस विच टॉक्स टू यू. सो कॉन्शियंस अलार्म इज लाइक एनी अलार्म एक्सटर्नल, दिस इज एन इंटरनल अलार्म. उनको अगर आदत सिखा दोगे, भूम भूम, जब चोरी लगने करने लगो तो झूठ बोलने लगो, भूम भूम होगा. तो ये भूम भूम जो है ना, ये आपकी कॉन्शियंस है. ये कॉन्शियंस बता रही है, ये आपसे भगवान बात कर रहा है. कॉन्शियस भगवान है, वो अंदर से बता रहे हैं ये गलत है. आपको पता, जब ये तुम झूठ बोलने लगे या गलत करने लगे, तुम्हें अंदर आत्मा से आवाज नहीं आई ये तुम गलत कर रहे हो? हाँ मामा आई थी. तो वही तो थे, यही तो अलार्म है तुम्हारा. लेकिन तुमने क्या किया? नहीं मैम फिर भी मैंने चोरी की. तूने इसलिए क्योंकि तूने उस अलार्म को बंद कर दिया. और अगर तुम अलार्म को सुन लेते तुम उठ जाते. जैसे सुबह के टाइम पर हम उसको बंद कर देते हैं, और जिसने उठना होता है उठ जाते हैं, और जिससे ज्यादा सोना होता है वो बंद कर देता है. It is exactly the conscience alarm. If children can be gifted clocks, called the conscience alarm, gift children conscience alarms that listen to this alarm. So when you want to give a gift to on functions, बच्चों को बुक दीजिए, साथ में कॉन्शियंस अलार्म दे दीजिए. कॉन्शियंस की शक्ल, ये टिक टिक, लिसन टू दिस कॉन्शियंस अलार्म. हर घर में बच्चों को अलार्म क्लॉक दीजिए, उसमें लिखा हुआ होगा कॉन्शियंस अलार्म. गिव इट टू देम. सो टीच देम हाउ टू राइट द डेस्टिनी. डेस्टिनी है क्या? उनको बताएं डेस्टिनी तो तेरी हो गई. क्या? जिस घर में तू पैदा हुआ ये तेरी डेस्टिनी, लेकिन यहां से शुरू हुई है, खत्म नहीं हुई. डेस्टिनी वो है कि तू कहां पैदा हुआ, तेरी डेस्टिनी शुरू हो गई. लेकिन अब इस डेस्टिनी से आगे क्या करेगा, वो है तू बनाने वाला. तुम किस घर में पैदा हो, तुम बड़े अमीर घर में पैदा हुए या बड़े विद्वान घर में पैदा हुए, ये तेरी डेस्टिनी. अब तुम इस विद्वान ज्ञान को आगे ले जाएगा कि खाक में मिला देगा, और ये वेल्थ को आगे ले जाएगा कि उसको मिट्टी में मिला देगा, ये तेरी डेस्टिनी. मगर तेरी डेस्टिनी वो है जो उस घर में पैदा हुआ है. ये तूने चूज नहीं किया था कि मैं इस माँ बाप के घर में पैदा होऊंगा, या इस देश में पैदा होऊंगा, या इस गांव में पैदा होऊंगा. कई बच्चे आपने देखे यूपीएससी के रिजल्ट्स में, कई बच्चे गरीब घरों के बच्चे ने यूपीएससी में क्वालिफाई किया. तो क्या किया उन्होंने? अपनी डेस्टिनी को कितना बनाया. दैट इज मेकिंग योर ओन डेस्टिनी. दे वर राइटिंग देयर ओन डेस्टिनी. मुझे याद है जब मैं एमए में पढ़ती थी, मास्टर्स में, तो मैं चाहती थी कि मैं यूनिवर्सिटी में टॉप करूं. तो ये फेट लाइन होती, कहा जाता है एस्ट्रोलॉजी में कि ये फेट लाइन होती है, कहा जाता है, मुझे मालूम नहीं है लेकिन कहा गया था कि ये भाग्य की रेखा होती है. मैं रोज क्या करती थी, पेन से रोज इस पर लाइन मारती थी, गहरी करती जाती थी, करती जा, अभी को बाकी गहरी हो गई. मैंने उसको जबरदस्ती गहरा किया. This, so what was born with it was my destiny, but I started to write that. ये थोड़ी मतलब है कि सिर्फ ऐसे ही लगी हुई ऐसे करती थी मैं. So जब मैं ऐसे करती थी तो इसका ये नहीं मतलब था कि इसके पीछे कर्म नहीं होता. मतलब है मैंने अपनी डेस्टिनी बनानी है. बनाई नहीं शुरू करी जब हाउस होल्ड को मना किया था. Destiny was starting to get made there. So friends, you have to train the children to create their own destiny. Saying ये तो तुम्हें ये रेखाएं तो मिली हैं, ये तुम्हारी पहले की हैं, कैसे आई हैं ये मिस्ट्री. लेकिन अब तो तुम बनाएंगे ना. इन हाथों से क्या करोगे, दिमाग से क्या करोगे, दिल से क्या करोगे, इस कॉन्शियस से क्या करोगे तुम अपनी. That is what life. The moment a child grows up believing in these things, you have a better world, my friends. You cannot have a better world ignoring all these basics. So let's see the next. So there are three constants in life, friends. They must understand life is change, and that you have choices, and there are principles. And principles are non-violative. What are those principles? नींबू का पेड़ लगाया तो नींबू ही मिलेंगे, आम का पेड़ लगाया तो आम ही मिलेंगे. प्रिंसिपल ये है कुदरत के कानून. So you will reap what you will sow. So if children can understand that तुमने फल लेना है तो पहले कर्म करो. And that is where the Gita, the role of Krishna's teachings come. कर्म योगी बनना. So friends, start by doing, if we can educate our children, start by doing what is necessary, then what is possible. and suddenly you are doing the impossible, said Saint Francis. The architect made houses, writer made poetry, the scientist made discoveries, and the teacher made them all. Remember that. Teacher is what made them all. So see, the mother is also teacher, father is also teacher, and then you have teachers outside the homes. And you see the kind of engineers we have now, and then without any degree, कैसी सड़कें बना गए, अभी तक मंदिर बना गए, जो अभी भी क्लाइमेट चेंज के बावजूद भी खड़े रहते हैं. और अब क्या है, इंजीनियरिंग डिग्री के बाद कैसे रोड बनाते हैं, ये डिग्री से है. योर चाइल्ड इज लाफिंग. बेटे तुम क्यों हंस रहे हो? तुम्हें क्या अच्छा लगा? क्योंकि यू लाइक्ड इट. व्हाट डिड यू लाइक इन दिस? कम हियर, टेल मी व्हाट डिड यू लाइक? What did you like? Why did you smile?
I liked you talking and all the videos you shared.
Oh, he's liking my talking. How cutely. उसको ये नहीं पता मैं कितना सच बता रही हूँ इस हिंदुस्तान का, कि हमारे इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस ऐसे इंजीनियर्स बनाते हैं. और पुराने ज़माने में हमारी रूट्स ये थी कि वो बिना इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज के ऐसी सड़कें बनाते, तो अभी भी हैं वो इमारतें. That's beautiful. That's divine ignorance. But he's enjoying it the way it is. You see? It's beautiful. And look at the last one, I think. So good teachers teach. Great teachers transform. You're here to transform. And not just teach, transform. So that's what Kalamji said, Dr. Kalam. If a country is to be corruption-free and become a nation of beautiful minds, I strongly feel there are 3 key societal members who can make a difference. They're the father, mother, and the teacher. They are the architects of the humanity. Mother, father, and there are countries and societies moving on who are becoming fatherless, motherless, parentsless, or do not know who the parents are. And then those are very dangerous developments. So we have to go back to parenting. We have to go back to teachers if we want a better society and a better world. Of course, skill will come. They will all earn, they will contribute, they will innovate, because good human beings will innovate, they will create, and they will earn for themselves, and they'll share the earning. They'll not be monopolists. They will be philanthropists. So if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you're determined to learn, no one can stop you. Remember that. So what will be the new year bring us? वो पूछते हैं. 365 opportunities. This is the positive attitude which our sister girls and boys and students will say, Aaj is one more opportunity. Pick it up. So friends, tomorrow you will wish you had started today. Thank you so much. Thank you. These are the little diamonds I preserve for myself, which inspire me as I read on a regular basis, and I save them. And when something like this happens, I dig into it and think, let me share my ratans, my diamonds, and my things which inspire me. So that's what you've seen today. Thank you so much for your honor and the regards you've given. Thank you, Kiran, once again for inviting me. Thank you, Vice Chancellor, sir, for inviting me and all of you, and the Dean and the Registrar and all of you together, and all the members of the faculty and those of you who've heard me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We're very thankful to Dr. Kiran Bedi for sharing the diamonds with us. So many things to think and learn and apply. Please be seated for a couple of minutes. I request all of you to be seated for a couple of minutes. And I'd like to invite our registrar, Mr. Amrish Mishra, to please give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Priya. Thank you, Dr. Kiran Bedi, for such a wonderful, inspiring session and your talk. It is often said, time is money. And if we all believe in this statement, today Oro University and I believe all of us have become multi-billionaire. Not only in terms of money, but the knowledge, the wisdom, what we got today by listening to all the eminent speakers and the panelists over here. I'm here in the auditorium since morning and we got such a knowledge, such wisdom from all of us, from all the speakers today. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. What a wonderful day to witness this C20 CONCLAVE, Education for Life and Global Citizenship. I am Amrish Mishra, Registrar of Oro University. I am honored and privileged to hold the responsibility of offering the formal vote of thanks. The list is quite long and time is short. Please, I want to apologize in the beginning itself in case I'll not be able to take names of everyone who is sitting in this room today. To begin with, on behalf of AU, that is Oro University, I would like to thank the divine blessings of Sri Aurobindo and the Divine Mother for giving us the motivation and encouragement to hold this conclave today. I would like to convey our gratitude to our founder president, Sri Hasmukh Ramaji, fondly known as HP, and all the members of Rama family. I would like to thank Ma Amritanandmai, fondly known as Amma, for sending her divine grace to this event. I would like to thank the most humble person who is the main reason behind organizing this C20 event at Oro University, Mr. Sanjeev Shah. Sir, may I request you to stand and get recognized, please. It's because of his efforts Thank you, sir, for bringing C20 event to Oro University. Just to mention, Mr. Shah is also the member of governing body for Oro University. Continuing my gratitude, I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart, chief guest of our inaugural event, Padma Bhushan Professor Kapil Kapoor. It's always a pleasure to listen to you. And next is the most inspirational speaker whom we heard just now, especially the source of inspiration to many young girls, boys and the ladies. Chief guest of our valedictory session, first woman IPS officer of India, Dr. Kiran Bedi. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our request and giving flying visit to Surat and to Oro University. While you were interacting with us, you mentioned about certain things and I would like to add on to what you mentioned in terms of what we are doing at Oro. The values, what you have mentioned, the values for life. At Oro, we have living principles. We have 12 living principles, aspiration, sincerity, humility, equanimity, all those we teach to our students in the form of science of living, where all these values have been taken. Our vision statement itself is a very unique one, to be a premier institution for integral and transformational learning. So what you mentioned about transformation, we all try to do that and we try to do our part in that. The collaboration of industry, you might have seen just now, we have tie up with Marriott International and I'm happy to share with you that Today we have two senior members of Marriott International who are here with us right now in the room, witnessing the event. You also mentioned about starting a day with the invocation. At Oro, every day before we start our session and a day, we offer Guru Vanna. We have a silence of 2 minutes over here for all the students before we commence the class. So these are the few things which we try to do, and we'll continue doing that under your guidance and what advice you have given us, ma'am. We would also like to thank all our guests, everyone sitting in this room who joined us today. Special mention to the guests from Ma Amritanandmayi Vidyapeetham, the team for collaborating with us. Special mention to Dr. Prema, Dr. Raghu, who couldn't join us, Swami Ramanand Amrita. We'd like to mention the guests who have joined us out of their busy schedule: Professor K.N. Chawla, Professor Rajan Velukar, Professor Katimani, Shri Dinesh Dasaji, Shri Kirti Shah, Shri Abhay Mangaldas, Dr. Jyoti Chauthaiwale ji, Madam Kalyani Raj, Dr. Neeraj Gupta, Padam Shri Shri Vishnu Pandya ji, our industry friends from Marriott India, Ms. Gurleen and Mr. Dilpreet. Thanking all our friends from media and press, the videography and the photography team, the media people who are here. I request you, in case you can cover the submission of AU, that is Oro University, to the C20 policy maker of including integral education offered at AU, if it can go as a white paper in the policy statement of C20. To continue my thank, I would like to thank our Honorable Provost, Professor Parimal Vyas, and his office, members of AU management team, Mr. Suresh Mathur, Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Nain Banker, Chief Financial Officer, our Associate Dean, Dr. Monica Suri, all heads of schools and departments, functional heads, faculty, staff members, student volunteers, and all the sheroes and heroes of our university. Thank you so much for coming and giving your support. I would also like to thank the support system of Oro University, which comes from outside in the form of support from Surat Marriott Hotel, headed by Mr. Amit Mehta, who is Area Director of Surat Marriott Hotel, and his team, Mr. Vikas Sharma, Area General Manager, and his team, Mr. Somil Zaveri, Project Head, and his team, Mr. Suraj Bhan, IT Head, and his team, and Mr. Jeet Banker, Finance Officer, and his team. They all have supported us to make this C20 event a grand success. The coordination of this C20 Conclave, Education for Life and Global Citizenship, under the leadership of Dr. Kiran Singh, Director, Shri Aurobindo Integral Life Center at Oro University, which is known as Soul of Oro University. Many of you might have interacted with her, but since she didn't have stage presence, I can request her to stand and be recognized, please. Thank you, ma'am. She is the lady behind this event today. And last but not the least, the Master of Ceremonies for the day, Dr. Priya Rajkumar, who is also our Head of School for Liberal Arts, and Ms. Arpita Yadav, faculty from School of Law. Once again, thank you all for being here. Those who are new to the city, please enjoy your stay and enjoy the hospitality of Surat, hotels, and Oro University. Thank you. Namaskar, everyone.
Thankful to Professor Amrish Sharma. Two important announcements and we can close for the day. There is a visit planned for Sri Aurobindo Integral Life Center. Honorable Provost has mentioned that it is the soul of the university. It is. Please go and discover. The other thing is that tea has been late, very late, but it is still going to be served. So when you leave the hall, tea will be served. And I could request all of us to please be seated till the delegates leave the hall along with the Oro representatives. And the last of all, I would request Manish ji to kindly play the national song and request you all to stand, please.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam Malaya Shitalam, Sujalam Sufalam Malaya Shitalam, Yasya Shamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhra Josna Pulakita Yamini, Pulla Kusumita Drumadala Shobhini, Shubhra Josna Pulakita Yamini, Pulla Kusumita Drumadala Shobhini, Suhasini, Sumadura Bhashini, Sukhalam Varadam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vingsha Koti Kantha, Kala Kala Ninada Karale, Ritringshrapati Bhujaydita Kara Karavale, Ringshrapati Pantha Kala Kala Ninada Karale, Ritringshrapati Bhujaydita Kara Karavale, Avalakya Mayatavale, Varadhalini Namami Dhalini, Vipudalabalini Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
Thank you very much.